Situated 30 kilometers southwest of the city of Bathurst, Brunswick, Canada, on the beautiful Bay of Chaleur, Brunswick Mine has been in production for more than 40 years. The history of mining in northern New Brunswick can be traced back to 1897. Local prospector, one William Hussey, discovered outcrops of iron formation near to become the largest lead-zinc deposit in the world. The ore body itself was outlined in 1952 by a group headed by Matthew J. Boylan, a Toronto industrialist who always believed that New Brunswick held important mineral wealth. And the work of local prospector Paddy Meehan, along with the thesis of a young engineer, Ben Baldwin, resulted in the discovery of base metal deposits that the northern miner described as ranking among the largest in Canadian mining history. The Brunswick mine began production in 1964. The story of the Brunswick mine is not just about heavy equipment and state-of-the-art technology, it's also about people. Brunswick is a large and complex operation. Valuable ore out of the ground is truly a team effort. The mine is essentially a large multi-level series of tunnels, all a number of roadways and ramps that are used to access and transport the ore. The mining process is carefully planned. The geotechnical information is thoroughly studied by geologists, engineers, and production people. Together, these professionals decide the best way to retrieve the ore. Ensuring the mine while underground and during transportation to and from work sites is a main priority of the mine. These safety measures start on surface in a modern dry facility, the last stop before going underground. The miners meet with their foreman to review the planned work and safety procedures before the start of each shift. So there is always an accurate account of who is underground. Miners must tag in and out in the mine drive before and after each shift. The mine dry also houses underground safety equipment with first aid and shower facilities. The mine rescue team is comprised of highly trained individuals who are called on to perform rescues and extractions in emergency situations. Also, if there are any air quality concerns underground, the mine rescue team is tasked with going into affected areas and ventilating to restore acceptable working conditions. Once the outline of the delineated, the extraction process begins. This process is called sub-level blast hole open stoping. Crosscuts are driven into the ore body at 30-meter intervals to for blast hole drilling. Once the stopes are drilled off, they're blasted, the ore is extracted, and the void is backfilled to provide stability for future mining operation. The mining process involves a series of different activities. Development consists of all activities which allow access to the ore body via tunneling. To create and access these tunnels, blast patterns are filled and loaded with explosives, and the rock must be removed. Once the stopes have been blasted and the rock removed, crews use mechanized bolters to install rock bolts and screens that keep loose rock into the access and work areas. Shotcrete. A concrete-based solution is sprayed over the screen where extra support is required. In addition, shotcrete is used to form pillars that hold up the ceiling where there are wide openings. Once the ore has been accessed, a slot is opened by a raise borer. Using fully automated drills, a series of production around the slot, loaded with explosives and blasted. The blast is designed to fragment the ore into chunks that can be picked up and moved by on the lower level. Blasters load detonating devices into the holes and fill them with explosives. After blasting, the ore is and ready to be transported. In many of the areas, remote control trams are used so the operator can remain outside the blasted area while the driverless scoop tram goes into the zone to retrieve the ore. Both scoop trams are used to transport ore to the ore passes, which are vertical chutes that direct the ore to an underground crusher where it's further reduced to a manageable size. The ore is hoisted to the surface inside a skip, which is basically a self-dumping. The ore is dumped from the skip onto a large conveyor belt and transported to the concentrator. Above ground, the ore makes its way to the concentrator,